So today I want to make another correction. The word that was escaping me when I was talking about nuclear technology is thorium. So you can have two different types of nuclear reaction. You can use thorium as the medium, or you can use uranium. Now, when you use uranium, the nuclear waste is weapons grade plutonium, and that's why it's preferred, because it's used to make nuclear weapons. But I think moving into this new golden age of Aquarius, to put it into a more spiritual term, we're moving out of the age of Pisces. The Jesus fish is Pisces. Into the age of Aquarius, and the Aquarius, well, I'm an Aquarius. And Aquarius are about, humanity. This is why I talk about what I talk about, because I've always thought about the world as one great big happy family. But we're not. This is the thing. Like, we need to celebrate our differences and our unique cultures and stuff. That's what makes the world a beautiful place. I don't want everyone to be the same. But then again, that's why Canada is such an awesome country, because we allow you to bring your heritage with you. Just as long as that doesn't include things that go against our own laws, like mercy killing or female castration or whatever, like circumcision, I mean. That doesn't fly here. Canada's about human rights. All rights for everybody. Equal rights for everyone. And that brings me into what I was talking about before, with the whole kind of moving forward with the future of technology and technical education, and a Canadian Space Force and Air Force and Navy that is more of a, focused on peacekeeping within and without Canadian borders and international waters. That's why we need a Navy, because the Navy is there's almost like an honor system there. And the Navy's going to help you out, especially the Canadian Navy. Like, this is where everyone used to love Canadians. Americans would put Canadian flags on their backpacks so that they wouldn't be recognized as Americans. Again, it kind of goes to what's happening right now with Canadians booing the American anthem. But, you guys started this. You're the one that threatened us with hurting our economy, and, pardon? What? What did we do exactly to deserve all this hostility out of nowhere? Like, the American populace is so ignorant and stupid that, well, it's no wonder you are where you are. Not to put too fine a point on it. But again, this is why we need to think of Canada first, and build Canadian, and work on complete self-sufficiency, which we can achieve quite easily. I think Canada can do everything better than anyone. The Nazi SS used to say that one SS was worth 3 Canadian or 3 UK forces, and one was worth 10 American forces. Well, I disagree with that, because in both World War I and World War II, Canadians kicked ass. Canadians single-handedly captured, one guy captured, I think, 20 people or 30 people or something. In World War II, we fought harder and better than anyone, and actually got too far in. We got stranded because we were too good. So, oh my God. America needs to be humbled a little bit. Actually, a lot, really. And so this brings me into kind of new technologies, and also kind of weirdly enough, the whole UFO or UAP debate. So, as I was saying before, my best friends growing up were Eric and Paul, and they're very, very smart. But I remember Eric and I would often talk, like, well, we'd have campfires out in the back 40 and whatever, drink beers, and it was great. It was good stuff. And talk about like space travel and stuff. And we were both like, here's the thing. Even then we were like, we rockets isn't the way. Rockets isn't going to get us anywhere. It can barely get us to, well, what is it? The best is like 9 months to get to Mars. We need to do stuff approaching the speed of light, right? It takes light 8 minutes to get from the sun to Earth. So we need to travel at 9 minutes to Earth. Weird things happen when you get close to the speed of light. Like not reverse aging, but you don't age, and when you come back, people are older than you. So that could have a fairly profound effect depending on how long you're in space. But this is also the thing. What we need to see is that it's again, it goes back to the Kardashev scale, and we're a level 0, so it's hard for us even to imagine what type 1 technology looks like, let alone type 2 or type 3. But I've heard Michio Kaku describe it, and well, I'd like to debate him what the technology behind a lightsaber, because I think what he's describing is a plasma sword, and guys are actually building those in their garages right now. But they're also too hot, like they're not practical. A lightsaber would be light and alone, so it's almost like, I would imagine it as a mini black hole at the Planck level that is, extended however much force you got. Some men's force is longer than others. But, yeah. So, and that would also explain why they, because it's like the positive deflection thing. And also why you could deflect lasers with it, because it's actually like a gravitational vortex sort of thing, but also really, really minute, so that, it doesn't suck you into its own void. Which reminds me of colliding atoms and trying to create a little black hole is probably not a great idea, because black holes suck shit into them, Like, I think that that's sort of a theme with humanity that we get, and it's also biblical, because it says in the Bible that people get too full of themselves, and they think they are as gods, right? In the Tower of Babel, they built a tower to God, and God destroyed it and all the people, and then they couldn't understand each other. That one language that united Earth was disbanded. And then the flood of Noah was the same idea, where the Atlanteans had grown corrupt and were worshiping false idols and making human sacrifice, etc., etc. That old chestnut. And so that's why God sent a flood. So going back to the kind of UFO thing and the UAPs. So, again, I followed this kind of topic my whole life. My brother and I we'd always get the latest version of World Weekly News. But as a kind of a shout out to Men in Black, like, there are some good articles in there. I remember, what's his name? Mars. He did the script for the JFK files, or the JFK movie by Oliver Stone. Well, or he didn't do the script. It was like based on his sort of book or whatever. Oh, can't think of his name. He's great though. He was a reporter. He said he used to be an old school reporter back in the 50s in Dallas, and back then the reporter was right in with the sheriff department. So when they'd go out on a call together, like there was definitely more transparency back then than there is now. But again, that's another talk. But so yeah, thorium is what we could be using to make nuclear submarines for our Navy, and also thorium reactors and all kinds of stuff, like just to it's a technology that hasn't been looked into. There was I remember I watched a Vice episode about this kid who was taking nuclear waste and making clean nuclear energy out of that. And again, these things they don't go anywhere, and we got to change that. Like what we really have to do something about is the monopoly on power that we have and how it's delivered. So and a part of that is going and looking into the future. Like I was saying, we would talk about how are we going to go to Alpha Centauri, which is 4.7 light years from here. We need to at least be able to approach the speed of light, or even better yet, do some sort of like just hyperspace jump, right? And so this is the thing. Okay, so but like it's flawed because Star Trek technology was sort of inconsistent, like with the transporter and the replicator. If you can disassemble yourself at the atomic level and put yourself back together with combination, like, with a replicator, you could just make your body perfect every single time. I want to be 25 every day. And, whatever, 5'11", 195 pounds, 6% body fat, that kind of thing. Literally looking like gods. And I would say that to me would be more like a type 3 type technology. But this is the idea. Type 1 technology utilizes the energy of the planet itself, all the energy of the planet, and that's where the idea of geoengineering isn't really. That's not really geoengineering, but it kind of is. Like it's working with the planet to optimize the energy of the planet and optimize the efficiency of the planet itself. The next would be a type 2, which would be to harness the ability of the sun, all the power of our own sun. And Michio Kaku refers to that as like a Star Trek sort of scenario, where it's like warp speed and, whatever that is. But really never actually achieving light speed or whatever. Like, I don't know, they didn't really, the science wasn't really good on that. But a type 3 would be the Star Wars universe, where they actually are just hyper jumping from one place to another. Or the Dune universe, where they're talking about using spice to fold space, which is sort of a more kind of philosophical way of doing it. Like they just sort of imagine themselves 50 million light years away, kind of thing. But the truth is with the whole UFO thing, again, it's not a conspiracy theory. You could argue that there's examples of it in the Bible. Even the Star of Bethlehem could have been some kind of UFO, because a star doesn't hover over a city. Stars are out in the sky. And again, that caught the attention of 3 wise men who followed that star to where, the Messiah was born, the Son of Man. I don't know, maybe that's well. I'll say one more thing. That's sort of an antidote, because one time I was talking to my students about crop circles, and crop circles are another truly amazing phenomenon that is a mystery. And the reason it's a mystery is because with legitimate crop circles, they're not just folded grass. Like, yeah, you got some drunken Irishman out there making circles one time. But real ones, like real documented, incredible design ones, they have some very curious phenomenon. One of them is like sort of a electrical resonance that can be measured. But what's particularly, I think, amazing is that, so with the real crop circles, the nodes in the plant, like the little kind of circles that contain a bit of water in them, nodes in plants, the nodes are superheated and they pop, almost like they were microwaved or shooken at an atomic level, vibrated, frequency, whatever, who knows, some kind of technology. But then they all follow in the same direction, the direction that's desired, and none of the plants are killed. In fact, the yields are better in those affected areas. And I had a student who like just laughed out loud and said, "That's ridiculous," you know. And I said, well, you may think that's ridiculous and extremely hard to believe, but that is a fact. Not just one fact. Like, again, see, here's the thing about science. Science has to be repeatable. And this is repeatable data. Like, this happens in real, actual crop circles, which happen around the world, but in some areas all the time, like around Salisbury Hill, like the Peter Gabriel, great Peter Gabriel song. So yeah, we can, I don't know, we can learn things from the earth itself, and I think we need to look towards space. And I think, again, Canada needs to be a leader in the world for demonstrating a peaceful approach to that and a cooperative approach to that, so that we can thrive as humanity, but not as, like, you know, one totalitarian New World Order humanity, but a broad, wonderful, eclectic group of human beings from all over the earth. And, you know, we can explore space together and colonize the moon. I mean, Elon wants to go right to Mars, but I think we should start with the moon first, and then Mars, maybe. Or, you know, there's some interesting moons in Jupiter and Saturn. I don't know. I think space is the final frontier, and I think Canada could play a real role in that, like a positive role, and I think we should.